For almost 5 years now, student loans have been paused. Not just payments, but collections. No garnishments, no enforcement, no consequences. That era has now ended. And in today's video, I want to explain how the resumption of student loan collections will quietly reshape restaurant demand in 2026 and why restaurant marketing has to evolve as a result. Not with panic, but with clarity. Let's get into the video. Okay, we've heard a lot about payments resuming for student loans. So, of course, that's old news at this point. But what actually changes behavior is collections. Not so much payments, but collections. I'm talking about wage garnishments, tax refund offsets, automatic enforcement. See, collections remove flexibility. They turn discretionary money into spoken for money. And when money becomes spoken for, dining behavior reorganizes, dining behavior changes. Now, collections create constraint, not so much fear. We're not talking about people just being scared or terrified. Some will, but the majority won't. But people will definitely be more constrained with their budgetary spending habits. In addition to the emotional reaction that collections create, they also create structural reactions, structural changes as well. People look at their month a little bit differently and they start to think, okay, this is fixed, that's fixed, this is gone. And what's left over gets handled a lot more carefully. Restaurants tend to feel that change immediately. It's not a delayed reaction. Okay, so let's talk about what the signals are already telling us. So you don't have to really guess too hard to see how this is going to play out. Large national brands are already adjusting their expectations. They're already changing their forecasts for the 2026 fiscal year. Companies like Chipotle have signaled a more cautious outlook, and that's tied directly to pressure on discretionary spending, especially among younger and middle income consumers. And that's important for two reasons. First, large brands have access to massive data sets. And second, they don't forecast based on vibes. They don't act based on what feels good in the moment. They forecast behavior. When brands like Chipotle and McDonald's project softness in the market, it doesn't mean that people totally stop eating out. It means frequency, choice, and trade offs start to change and adjust. And independent restaurants, they feel those changes first. So here's how collections are going to change dining behavior in 2026. There won't be mass empty restaurants, but there will be different patterns for sure. You're going to see fewer spontaneous weekday visits. You're going to see tighter happy hour spending. You're going to see less experimentation for newer concepts. You're going to see stronger defaulting behavior, stronger habit based behavior to familiar restaurants that customers already know and trust. There's going to be more of the is this really worth it tonight type of decisions around dinner. Customers won't stop dining out, but they will stop wandering. Cash that used to be free is no longer free, it's now allocated. Now, here's why these changing patterns put pressure on independent restaurant owners. Chains benefit from habit, convenience, repetition, and mental shortcuts. Independent restaurants, well, they rely more on intentional choice. When budgets tighten, Intentional choice begins to shrink, not because the food isn't good, but because decision making becomes expensive. And that's why visibility matters in 2026 a lot more than it has in prior years. So let's talk about what this means for restaurant marketing. 2026 is not a year for clever marketing campaigns. It's a year for protective marketing strategies. You want to focus on marketing that keeps you top of mind to your customers, marketing that reinforces familiarity with your top level diners, marketing that reduces decision friction, marketing that makes choosing you feel easy, natural, and comfortable. Here are some practical ways to protect that foot traffic when budgets tighten. Number one, you want to prioritize repeat visits over discovery. New customers are naturally harder to win over when budgets tighten. Your best foot traffic comes from people who already know you, people who trust the experience that you provide, people who don't have to think about whether your restaurant is a good choice or not. Marketing should reinforce what people already know. Marketing should reinforce memory, not novelty. Number two, you want to make weekday visits feel predictable. When money tightens, people crave predictability. Clear expectations matter. Consistent specials, reliable hours, family menu anchors. Not so much mass discounts, but price certainty in the minds of your diners. Number three, you want to stay visible even when you scale back. Here's what I mean. Going quiet sometimes feels like the responsible thing to do, but it's also dangerous when budgets tighten. You don't need more posts, you need continued presence. Silence creates replacement in the minds and memories of your diners. Number four, you want to reduce mental friction. When customers' budgets are constrained, then effort becomes a cost. You want to ask yourself some questions about your restaurant, and you need to be honest. Is my restaurant easy to decide? Is it easy to order from my restaurant? Is it easy to show up? The easier you are to choose, the more often you'll be chosen. Number five, you want to reinforce comfort, not cleverness. So, pressure pushes people toward comfort. When people feel stressed, they want to relieve that stress by something that feels comfortable, something that feels familiar to them. This is not the moment for experimental messaging. You don't want complicated offers. You don't want overthinking in your customers. Comfort beats clever when budgets tighten up. This is not going to be a temporary dip in sales. This is going to be a long term shift. And the restaurants that get ahead of this will win in 2026. Student loan collections are not a 1 month story, they're a structural change to the economics in the United States. 2026 will reward restaurants that understand behavioral pressure, that adapt their marketing expectations, and that protect their visibility intentionally. This will not be the last external constraint that customers face in their budgets, but it will be a clear test of who understands demand as behavior, not hope. So, student loan collections won't empty out dining rooms, but they will change how often, how confidently, and how carefully customers dine out in 2026. Restaurants that recognize that pattern early will protect foot traffic better than those who wait to see what the market will do. In the post pandemic economy, it's important to remember two things. Having good food just isn't good enough anymore. And if nobody walks through the front door of your restaurant, then nothing else matters. I'm Donovan Garrett. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.